Hi everyone, PSLE Oral is around the corner. Are you nervous? Don't worry, I'm here to help you out. Hi, I'm Mr. Chi from Fun Learner School, your speed studying strategist. Today I'm going to share with you some tried and tested effective strategies that has helped our learners to score distinctions in the PSLE. Bear in mind that although the strategies we discussed today focus on English Oral, they can be applied to Mother Tongue Oral as well. Now, before we dive into the specific strategies, it is necessary to understand what the examiners are looking out for on the overall. To score the distinction in English Oral, you must demonstrate strong ability to communicate in the language. Now, for the first 10 marks in the reading section, most students would be able to read fluently. But not every child would be able to read as if they are telling a very interesting story. I'm going to demonstrate to you. Most children will read like that. The sea was calm, but they found paddling boring and unpleasant as the water was chilly. The children soon abandoned that activity in favor of daring each other to walk along the narrow top of the breakwater. This breakwater was slippery at the end with green weed and the water deep on one side, and everyone accomplished the journey safely. Now, if you read like that, the examiner, they will be listening and they will be thinking that, hey, you're actually reading like all other students. Let's inject some emotions into our reading, okay? And to maintain some eye contact every once in a while, okay? In this way. The sea was calm, but they found paddling boring and unpleasant as the water was chilly. The children soon abandoned that activity in favor of daring each other to walk along the narrow top of the breakwater. This breakwater was slippery at the end with green weed and the water deep on one side, and everyone accomplished that journey safely. Now, if you want to score the distinction, this is how you should read. As if you are telling a really interesting story to your parents or your friends, about something that has happened in school. Alright? Do you know that you can actually practice reading in an expressive way by taking out any passage, whether it's your close passage, comprehension passage, whatever, okay? Or even a newspaper article. Just pick it up and read it a few times. Read in front of the mirror so that you can practice hearing yourself out, and every few moments just look up at your examiner in a very natural way as if you're trying to communicate with the examiner. If the examiner can sense your effort in telling them an interesting story, you have gotten at least a 9 upon 10. It's actually possible to get a full marks for reading passage. Now, in the next 20 marks of the stimulus-based conversation, most average students will be able to describe the pictures given in a complete manner. However, distinction students were able to achieve fluency and intelligence in their responses. By fluency, we are really talking about being prepared for the scenarios. How can you prepare yourself for the various scenarios when you still have time? It is scripting, which we will be talking about later. In terms of intelligence, there are two ways of showing it. First one is humor, okay, in a sensible way. And number two is to teach the examiner something. I'm sure there's something in the unique experiences of every student that the examiner will not know. Like for example, the best food stall in the canteen, bearing in mind that the examiners will come from a different school. You can actually share with them which is the most interesting part of the nearby library if the topic is about the library. These are the things that the examiner will be thinking like, hey, I didn't know about that. Yeah, it's interesting to think about that, right? So if you're able to strike a conversation with the examiner, if your responses actually interest the examiner, you are on the right track to scoring a distinction. I'm going to share with you a very powerful way of preparation by scripting. First of all, you need to prepare for at least 10 scenarios. Now, the scenarios should be something common for most students in Singapore, like on the MRT platform or in the MRT trains, on the bus, and this is under transport system, the school canteen, library, in the school field, or even places like the shopping center. These are the various scenarios. You can think about 10 to prepare for. And for each scenario, write in 7 to 8 full sentences, and each sentence must give the context, which means that your sentence must be able to tell the full story by itself. If the teacher asks, what is the poster about. You don't say it is about. You don't script that kind of answers for this type of questions. It should be, the poster encourages families with children to go for a family day event at East Coast Park. It's supposed to be like that, full sentences, full paragraph. When you're doing your scripting, it should sound like it is a continuous flow of conversation as you go along. I'm going to demonstrate further with regards to a poster on a family day. It is meaningful as there would be fundraising events for the needy, such as the visually handicapped and the intellectually disabled. I would certainly hope to join such an event with my family, as it is always good to have a change of activities we engage in. If you script in this way, in the actual exams, everything will be inside your mind, and all you have to do is to say everything out in your own words. That is a very, very useful application of scripting. If you prepare 10 scenarios, you can be assured that whatever scenario that's given in the PSLE, you'll be able to mix and match whatever you have prepared to achieve fluency and intelligence in your responses. As a roundup, in order to score A star in the PSLE Oral, some students and parents will think that, hey, you must achieve the top conditions in the marking rubrics. But if you look at the marking rubrics, there are so many things to think about, like clarity, intonation, and things like that. It is impossible to focus on those things. However, if you're able to focus on, let's say, when you're reading, you sound as if you're doing your best to tell an interesting story. And in terms of the stimulus-based conversation, you are putting your best efforts to come up with fluent as well as intelligent responses. On top of that, if you don't have any language errors, you should be able to score the full marks. All the best for PSLE Oral.